Hi, guys. Can you hear us?
The meeting because it is hosted by another user. I'm not trying to host.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Join. Get Margaret joined up and then yes, and then I'll make you. Make co-host, confirm. There we go.
All right.
You good?
Well, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, goodness.
Figure things out.
You know, I love technology. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. Can you hear me on Zoom?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. I'm like, oh crap, what's wrong? Because if you can't hear me, that's gonna make for a really long day. All right. What are we here for?
CMA.
Oh, dang it. I thought we were doing contract to buy and sell. No, that's Friday. All right, so okay, this is gonna be hard because I got my computer this way and you guys are. Can you guys because I'm gonna sit on this chair and I can't see you. So, all right, so I think so, Chris. Thank you. Yeah. Whatever. So today we're gonna talk about CMAs and I just gotta get everything because I use my computer a lot, so I need to be able to do it all. So, oh, here we go. All right, so who has actually taken a CMA class before? Taken one? Okay. Who's like super confident on their CMAs and wants to teach class? I mean, if you want. Hey there. Karen's like, eh.
I got this.
I can share
volunteer.
Excel spreadsheets. That's awesome. So anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit about CMAs, and my goal is that I want to teach you. So here's my first opinion on CMAs, right? Unless you've actually seen the house, right? To do an actual CMA with, a nice little brochure or using the cloud CMA features that some people choose to buy, like, I think we think that it's such a tangible thing. And the reality is it's a skill, which is why it's in skills lab. Okay. So you can use the skills that you learn in a CMA class when you're working with a buyer. Right? But when you're working with a buyer, you're not going to spend 2, 3, 4 hours going through every little detail. Right? When you first go out on a listing, you may know nothing about the house. You can't take a CMA because you don't have all the details to make the proper adjustments. But you can actually do a market analysis of the neighborhood of similar size homes and similar style homes. And then when you do that, that's going to allow you to then at least get in the ballpark when you walk through the house. Okay. So I just want to say that because I think sometimes in our business, we get so tied to getting the CMA and getting it perfect and getting it to the exact penny. And the reality is it's an art, not a science. Okay. If it was a science, I could build formulas around every piece to it. And even when you're doing it, you're not going to come up and provide an exact number with your client, potential client, right? You're going to typically give them a range, regardless of which side you're on, right? If you're on the seller side or the buyer side, you're going to give them a range and then you're going to let them choose. Thoughts, comments, follow up, any of that good stuff? All right, so we're going to have a little fun today because we're actually gonna do the CMA that I have for a listing appointment that I'm going on, and I do know the house. And so we're gonna actually, I'm gonna do my job and I'm gonna teach you while I'm doing my job. Is that fair? Okay, so, all right, let me see if I can get this off my screen. All right. So where do I want to start? So I'm going to start with you guys. I want to talk about adjustments. So it is very unusual for you to find a property that you are going to find, and I'm going to email this because Stacy's taking attendance for me. I am going to email this to everybody that was here. So you don't need to take screenshots. You don't need to do any of those
You're
things.
emailing that to us, the CMA adjustment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to. I'm going to send you that and my magic spreadsheet. So yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
That's okay. It is going to be rare that you are going to find a house that is identical to the property that you're doing a market analysis on, right? You might find the same square footage, but you might not find the same level of finishes. You might find one basement's finished, the other basement's not finished. If you're in the single family world, like I've got one right now, that I am never going to find a property like it because they did a 700 square foot addition. Right? Every other house in the neighborhood is a 1,200 square foot Hutchinson Ranch and they made it 1,900. So knowing how to make those adjustments for those different things. And so I want to talk through a little bit about the adjustments before we dive into the how. Is that fair? All right. So first of all, your biggest adjustment, and this is a mathematical equation, is square footage, right? Because you're going to have a difference in square footage, and not all square footage is created equal, right? Above ground square footage is more value than below ground square footage. Finished below ground square footage is more valuable than unfinished below ground, okay? So how do you figure out what those adjustments are? Maybe I need to make this a little bigger. Are you guys squinting? No, we don't see each one. Okay. Much better. Okay, thank you. So speak up. Like if you can't see stuff, tell me, because I'm as blind as a bat, so I don't know. That's why it printed my MLS sheet on this size paper, so I can read. So when you're finding how to start, you're adjusting your square footage. Square footage in Rhino or North Denver is going to be very different than Northwest Arvada, right? The price per square foot in different areas is going to be different. So, and by the way, I got this formula from an appraiser. Okay, I've decided I might as well get the information from the guys that are out doing it. Okay, so what you do is you find the median price per square foot total in the area and the type of home that you're doing. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so you find your median price per square foot. An example on this piece of paper, that is $235. Your adjustment ratio for above grade is 1/3 of that. So you take that above grade median and divide it by 3, and that's where you start for above grade square footage. Okay. Then your below grade basement is 1/4 of the adjustment ratio. And your finish is half. So if I do this easy math, let's say it was 300. Okay. 300 divided by 3 is what? 100. So above grade, the difference is $100 a square foot. So if I have an 1,100 square foot house and I'm comparing it to 1,000 square feet, I take the 100 times the 100 and I would get my adjustment. And we're going to do a live one, okay? Because I'm seeing some like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a math person. I get you, okay? But you got to understand it, okay? Below grade finish is worth half of that $100 adjustment. So if the basement is finished, how much is that worth if it's half? 50. Yay! High five. Okay. If it's unfinished, it's 25, which is 25. There we go. Y'all thought I was good at math. You're good at math. Okay. So that's your calculators, okay? When you see the spreadsheet I built in 2015, okay, I have formulas built. You guys are all gonna get my spreadsheet. So you only have to do one thing and it'll automatically calculate those ratios for you, but you need to understand where they came from, okay? If you're dealing with a carriage house, right, we see a lot of ADUs, especially if you get, there, more and more of them are popping up, right? An ADU, they're suggesting do the same as finished below ground. Okay? If you have a walkout basement, it's worth $15,000.
Just flat.
Just flat. 15, the walkout basement is $15,000.
In addition to the finished square foot.
Yes, absolutely, in addition to.
Not just.
Okay.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Didn't follow the question, so that's why we have more than one people in here. Okay. Condition of a home is extremely critical. And I actually have updated this. So some of you guys are working with some of the old views, and Ryan, I think you are now that I look at it. I
Yeah.
think your property is a C5, which would change some of those
That makes
adjustments.
sense.
Okay?
I was like, that looks different.
Yeah, it does look different. So Ryan's working with a property that's borderline C6. Okay? So a C1 is brand new. Nobody's ever lived in it. So the likelihood of you doing a C1 for anything other than if you're buying in a neighborhood and you're competing against new builds, or you're selling in a neighborhood that has a bunch of new builds, your comp might be a C1. It's rare, but it might be. Okay? A C2 is like new. There's no deferred maintenance and all of the elements are new or less than 5 years old. Typically, homes less than 5 years old, or someone that's done a complete remodel. Right? I'm talking, and these are the quality flippers, these aren't the other ones. Okay? Stacy and Ben's flips are C2s. Every time. Okay? But if you walk into a property and it's not what the buyers are looking for today, like, could I walk into a model home and see the basic same stuff, then it's not a C2. Okay, does that make sense? Yes? Okay. All right. C3, very good to above average. It's been well maintained. There might be some minor wear and tear. It might need some cosmetic updates, like maybe carpet and paint, but it's literally move-in ready. Okay? I would argue that that's what most of the houses are we're working with. Okay? If there's somebody that's lived in their house, right? I would argue that that's my house. My house is 6 years old. It looks just like it did when the builder did it. I'm probably somewhere between a C3 and a C2. And you can have different levels within these. Okay? A C4, good to average, minor wear and tear, maybe dated, right? If any repairs are needed, they would only be cosmetic in nature. This is where I would say grandma lives. Right? Grandma loved her house when they built it in 1960. She loves the shag green carpet. It's beautiful, don't you think? But guess what? She's taking care of the furnace. She's taking care of the roof. She's taking care of it. She's kept it clean. That shag green carpet's the cleanest shag green carpet you're gonna find. That's your grandma house. C5, moderate wear and tear, things like carpet and paint would need to be redone, replaced. Repairs would most likely include some of the following building components: siding, roofing, furnace, plumbing, etc. Needs a lot of work. This is what I would call an investor special. If you agree, Stace? Right? And then C6 is it's just not unlivable. And it's ready for straight. Okay. So you want to understand the different conditions of the property. Because it's highly unlikely, if you're dealing with a C4, that you're going to find only C4s in that neighborhood. You're going to find some C2s, you're going to find some C3s, you're going to maybe find a C5. Okay? So you want to understand how to make those adjustments. What we say is that the percent you take the calculation for condition is a percentage of the sold price, and it can range from 3 to 5% per level. Okay? So I just said my own house is probably between a C2, C3. So it could be a C2 minus, it could be a C3 plus, I don't care, right? But if I'm comparing that to a solid C4, I'm probably gonna do a 5% adjustment, right? If I'm doing my high-end C3 against a low-end C3, one that I could almost argue going C4, I might go 3%. So this is where it's an art, not a science. How do you develop your artistic skills? Go preview more houses.
When you say per level, like basement, main level, it's like, is that what you mean by per level?
No, I mean per level between C1, C2, C3, C4, C5.
Okay.
Okay, so between grade, between condition category. Okay, maybe that's a better word. Per level of condition is what it says there, right?
Oh.
And so if you're comparing a C4 to a C2, I'm probably making somewhere between a 6 and a 10% adjustment.
So how would you do like, let's say, C4 and it's like paint, carpet, kind of cosmetic, but then let's just throw in like the HVAC sold, or this like one high item ticket.
I'm probably gonna do minus. I'd probably say it's a C3 minus. Right? There's a difference between an old HVAC and a non-functioning HVAC.
Right.
Right? So again, it's the art. The more houses you look at, the easier this will become. I highly encourage you to be looking at anywhere from 7 to 10 houses a week. Okay? And it's fun.
Yeah.
But don't always go out to the fancy new builds, because this isn't going to teach you this. Right? But go pick a neighborhood that's been in existence for a while. Right? If you live in Arvada, go pick Lake Crest. Go pick the Pond. Right? Go pick Allendale. Right? Everything's in Allendale.
I got it all.
You do, you have it all, right? If you just go on Stacy's Block, you have it all,
Yeah.
right? And so go look at the homes in those areas to start to get a feel for that condition, so that that art becomes something that you're more comfortable with. Fair enough? All right. Bathrooms.
Hey, Margaret, I have one thing to add. It was really helpful when I was looking at conditions to do it with like someone like you or another person, because you get like a lot of feedback. Well, I wouldn't say it was this because look at that. And you go, oh yeah, I hadn't really thought of that. So it's helpful to do it with somebody
Uh-huh.
who, because everybody has a different impression, and at least you kind of
Yeah.
Right.
mentally go through the.
And regardless of how long you've had your license, you all have different life experiences. I would love to go on a preview with AJ, who built houses up in Summit County.
Well, me too, actually.
Right? So if you guys want to really do this and have some fun with it, why don't you go do it together?
Another coaching.
Right? What if somebody took the lead and just created in the coaching program and say, hey, every Friday we're going to go look at homes from this time to this time, and somebody takes the point to pick out 2 or 3 and y'all go look at it together, won't you all get better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bathrooms. Here's what I'm gonna say about this. I don't normally make bathroom adjustments because square footage is square footage. Says my good friend TJ, the appraiser. However, if you have a difference that falls between above grade and below grade, I am going to make that adjustment. So as an example, the house we're going to do in this session, when they bought the house, there was no bathroom in the lower level. There is now a full bath down there. I am absolutely going to do an adjustment for it. Okay, because the comps don't have one in the basement at all. Is that a value add?
Yeah.
Yes. But if the comps have a half bath and I have a 3/4 bath, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Not really, right? So also, if you're in a higher priced home, I might start doing some adjustments at about 7,500. But again, I'm talking about 1.5 plus.
You don't think a 3/4 bath compared to half bath makes that much of a difference, because at least has a shower. It's hard to add a shower in a bath.
You can argue that,
Yeah.
yes, but is $1,000 or $1,500 really going to sway your overall valuation of the house? No, right? And that's the whole point, right? You're not coming down to the exact number, right? You're not going to go to your seller and say your house sells for $472, and right, you're just not going to do that, right? You're gonna give them a range, so I don't think it makes that big of a swing.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you think it does, then apply the arc and do an adjustment, right? This says normally they do 0 for a basement, but again, with the townhome that we're looking at, I do think it's valuable because of the setup. So I'm applying the art, not the science. Okay?
Yeah.
Parking, huge, 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 huge. Garages are about $10,000 a space.
You scroll down.
I can, because you can't see that. Thank you. Okay, parking, garage, 10,000 a space. However, what if you're in downtown Denver and somebody has a garage? What if you're in the Highlands?
Double, probably.
Yeah, at least 15, right?
Not double.
But in your typical suburbia, like here, out here, like I'm gonna pick on Allendale since Stacy's in the room. There, it don't matter, right? Like it's $10,000, okay? Carpool, tandem is 5,000, so a tandem space is only worth half. Okay, because they're kind of inconvenient.
What's a tandem?
Yeah.
Tandem is where they park in front of each other.
Yeah.
Instead of side by side, they park in front.
It's in a garage.
They're in a garage.
Back out, back out.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Like,
Yeah.
part-
You see that a lot in like mobile homes.
Single. open.
Oh,
High
like,
density.
there's a bunch of them out in Candelas.
Like you might have a
Downtown
3-car
Denver, that's
garage, you might have a 3-car garage, but it's like one space, and then the other space is like a tandem space.
To get the front car out, you have to move the back car.
You go like downtown Denver.
Or like the garages where it's a narrow
next to
lot.
each other.
The garages in the back,
Garage, and it's
there's
next to
one that's
the
stripped.
whole crowd, they get like an upper level, but downstairs the
Yeah.
garage. Okay, thing.
Yep.
So would you subtract, let's say it's a 2-car garage and it's one of those narrow driveways and the garage is in the back, would you almost subtract from the garage?
So is it a detached garage?
Yeah.
So
Let's
no,
say
I
one
do
of those
not.
ones in the back.
No, I don't. Well, do I have to,
Yeah, it's like what, 1 lane to the back. So.
and I,
all
is
backed
it
up.
like a drive-through garage?
No, just like the garages, it's kind of like behind the house, but it's like one strip to get into the garage, so. If there's someone in the driveway, you have to go across.
No, that I would not.
No.
A tandem is it's all in the same roof, right? And car number 1 has car number 2 blocking it.
Got
Okay? This space that's blocked is only worth half as the space behind it because it's easy in and out. Unless it's a drive-through garage. Don't have a lot of those.
So
So
10,
if-
10, and 5.
Huh?
So on a 3-car tandem, 10, 10, and 5.
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm comparing it to a true 3-car garage,
10, 10, 10.
yes, so it's 5,000 different.
5,000 less.
Okay? If it's one of those great big huge, drive the RV in, the great big extra tall ones, those are worth 20. Okay? Go ahead.
What if it's like street parking?
That's worth nothing.
Okay.
That's good, that's good.
And
Good
no
luck to you and your
adjustments.
friend if you come over.
That's free parking.
One of the ones
That's-
I was looking at
that's
is
the
like
one.
two street parking spots.
So that is where
Especially if you're.
agents need to get better at disclosing stuff in the MLS. Because two parking spaces in the driveway is no value. 2 parking spaces on the street are no value. The value comes from a garage
Because.
or a carport.
Something that's covered or
Yes.
enclosed.
Yes, right. Okay? If you have a carport is worth half of a garage. So if I have a house that one has a single carport and the other one has a single garage, it's a $5,000 difference.
Okay.
Okay?
In like your high dense areas, you would consider a small driveway a bonus at all? Kind of. It's a big
Maybe.
hit. It's a
Enough to
big
make
hit.
it, here's the thing. Am I comparing it to everybody else that has the same thing, then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right? It's only because when you're doing comps, you are trying to make the homes that you're comparing to
It's close.
equal to the subject.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll get into that when we start into the math, right? So if everybody in the neighborhood has no garages and the same skinny little parking place, there is no adjustment because everybody has the same. Okay? So I would say that if somebody had a detached garage in the back, that's where you make the adjustment for the fact that they have a garage and nobody else does. Okay? All right. Cooling. Central air is worth 5,000. A swamp cooler or evap cooling is worth $2,500. Okay, so if you're comparing a house, one has central air and one has evap, it's a $2,500 adjustment. Okay. Patios and porches, these are tough. I don't make a lot of adjustments for these unless it really stands out. But you can go 2,500 to 5,000. Again, I typically don't make an adjustment for that because it is what it is. Okay. Now, views and location. I would say this could go anywhere from 10 to 100. I could go put a 1 in front of that 100, that 25. Because when you think about what builders charge for lot premiums, right? If you have a property that backs to national forest that no one's ever going to be allowed to build on, and they've got a peak to peak view of the Rocky Mountains, I think that's probably worth more than $25,000 to get somebody who doesn't have one. There are views out in Northwest Arvada, and I work a lot up there, so I'm going to talk about it a lot, that we make $50,000 to $75,000 adjustments. Typically in the more suburban neighborhoods, this 10 to 25 fits, right? If they have a view of Stanley Lake, that's probably a $25,000, right? If they have a green belt behind them and nobody else does, that might be 10. Okay, is this making sense to you guys? Just talking through where these numbers come from before we dive into the how. How are we doing, Zoom? Is this making sense?
Yes. Yep.
We love it when people respond. Okay. Are you see? I don't know if you can see. I'll take these off, Stacey, so we can get them all. And then lot size. Does the size of a lot matter? Sometimes. Yeah.
But
Yes.
that's square foot though, right?
Well, so this is the tricky part.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So in the city, when your lot sizes are smaller, you can go from $3 to $5 a square foot. Okay. But when you go to the mountains or you go to the plains, now you're looking at acres, right? You're not going to do that adjustment for a 3 acres to a 20 acres based on the price per square foot. You're going to have to figure out what the adjustments are in that area based on the lot size. We're not going to go down that rodeo today because the honest part is most of you aren't going to be up there doing it every day. And that's not what my purpose is today. But then you got to start looking. And here's the other thing. When you start getting there, when you start getting up in the mountains, it's not just the size of the lot, but the usability of the lot. Right? So you could have a 5-acre lot that you can only use 1 acre. Well, then the reality is that's the same as a 1-acre lot, 2-acre lot, right? So there's a lot more that goes into pricing in the mountains. So when you get into that, the beauty of it is we start you here, and as you gain more experience, that will become more logical. All right? Questions? All right, let's have some fun. Where do I want to be? Oh, I want this to go away. Okay. So where do I start? Okay, well, I gotta find the comps. Okay, and I just so happen to have the address right here. Okay, so I go in Matrix, and I'm going to assume you all know how to get this far. Okay, you're going to go up here to search, and in this case, I'm searching residential. Okay, this happens to be a condo that lives like a townhome in Lafayette. Okay, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to type the address of 1068 Delta. This. Drop. Get something. What am I hitting? Okay. No, not in Colorado Springs. I want the one in Lafayette. So you gotta pay attention, then this is my hyperlink. Okay, so if you think back to when we talk about having conversations with sellers, when we're in front of them in a listing consultation, we are looking for a combination of actives, coming soons, pendings, and closed, correct? It's the same thing when I'm doing a CMA. Now, The actives are just there as a data point, because I wanna know what I'm competing against. Okay, so I'm gonna ask this machine, I'm saying, give me the coming soons, the pendings, and the close. Now, I know this is a condo. I know that. However, do agents always properly enter in the MLS a condo versus a townhome 100% correctly?
No.
Good, you've learned that, okay? So instead of clicking condo, I wanna make sure I'm getting everything, so I'm gonna click, in this case, single family not. So I got you. I'm going to get the condos and all the townhomes, so regardless of how they filled it out, I'm gonna capture it. If I knew it was a single family home, then I would just leave it like this. Okay? So again, these are some of my tips that I learned throughout the years when I'm trying to find property. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if you wanna share your screen to the Zoom, if they could see or not.
They should be able to see it.
Okay, I didn't know if they were able to see your actual screen.
Yep, y'all can see this, right?
Yeah, because she's zooming to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I was trying to look out for them.
Can I just ask a quick question? What's deeded parking? I mean, I kind of get it, but like,
So that's downtown. You can actually buy the parking and just buy the parking structure, the parking garage or the parking space. We don't see a lot of it, but it's down.
like New York City, you know.
Yeah, it's down there for sure. Okay. All right. So I got my deals, and now if I don't get enough, I can go out farther. So my theory on this is I start as close to the subject property as I can. And if I don't find what I need, then I go out farther. Okay, so I will start at 1/4 of a mile from the subject, I'll go out to a half, and then I'll go out to a mile. If you're up in the mountains, you might have to go up 5 miles. Just because it's fast.
What about the close date? Is there like a?
Good question, right? So I start with the 0 to 6 months, which is what is the default in your RE Colorado search. Okay, now, if we were in a market or in a world where we had lots and lots of sales, I might change that to what's actually sold in the last 90 days. Okay, now I happen to have done enough homework on this property. I know we're not going to get what we need doing that, so I'm going back to the 6 months. Okay, now let's say that we've maxed out to the mile, we've maxed out for the 6 months, and I still don't have enough property. Then I would go back farther in time.
Okay.
Okay, so you always want to start closest in proximity, closest in time, and then adjust out as you need to get enough properties to do your CMA.
Is like the furthest out maybe a year, or you just go just out until?
Depends on the market.
Okay.
In our current environment, I am not afraid to go back to January 2024 because what's the reality of the market in the last 2 years?
It hasn't changed.
It's relatively flat, right? In the attached housing, it's done what?
Dropped.
It's gone down a little bit, right? So if you know the market stats and you know what your market is doing, you can get away with that. Now, in 2021, I would have been trying to find houses that closed in the last 60 days, and still I wouldn't have had enough appreciation. So you got to understand what the market conditions are, okay? But I'm not going to start going back to 2024. I'm going to start with 6 months, go back a year, and then get as close as I possibly can. Because again, it's an art, it's not a science. Fair enough?
Yeah.
All right. So I have 12 properties that fit the criteria of being within 1/4 mile of this condo. Now, I'm not going to go out farther because one, it's not going to help me because if these condos are all around single families, they're all around them. Okay. And I probably won't get as many as you would if we were doing this for real, but this is pretend kind of. All right. So I know because I have printed out my realist. I know that this house is 1,174 square feet above grade. So I'm going to sort first by above grade, and I'm going to do it the other way. And I want to find homes that have similar size. Now, there's none that are the exact same for these. Okay, this is a condominium unit. The buildings all are the same. But guess what? Not that sold in the last 6 months. But appraisers will tell you you can go above and below up to 25%. Now, to me, that's a stretch. I usually try and stay within 10% first. And then if I have to, I'll stretch to 20. Because again, I want to stay as close as I can in size, right? So if I'm looking at 1174, I would guess this 1260 is going to be okay. Right? Less than 100 square feet, it should be good. So then this 1064, this 1020, yeah, that's going to be okay. And then these 992s are probably fine. Okay? If I didn't have this many to choose from, I might grab these other two, but I don't think I want to because they're too far apart. I don't need to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then I'm going to refine my search to just those. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to go back. What do I need to know in order to calculate my numbers? What was the very first thing on this sheet of paper that I need to know?
Square footage.
I need to know that price per square foot in this area. So before I filter it down, I want to get that calculation. So when you're in RE Colorado, if you get this little crossbar and you click on it with your left click, you can insert and take away different columns in the results. Okay, so I'm going to insert a column. There we go. And I'm going to come down here to search, and I've done it a couple times. I'm going to type in PSF. Okay, PSF stands for price per square foot. And I want which one of those? What does it say? Total. So I want this one, and I'm going to apply it. Okay,
You
Then-
said you added total,
PSF total. Yep,
but I thought the 25% was on above ground, right?
I'm getting the median.
Okay. Total. So your median price isn't.
The
Or above
median
ground,
price is on total square footage.
Yes.
but when you're searching for properties, you're looking at 25% on the above ground.
Yes,
I just-
But my first adjustment on the calculator for square footage is based on price per square foot of everything in that area.
Okay,
So that's why I backed up and got that. Yes,
The
Miss.
sheet of realist, the information that you referenced off realist, you go and get that first.
I'm gonna get my price per square foot, so I have the right adjustment value.
Right, but when you started this, you had a sheet that had the total square footage of the subject
realist.
property, the realist.
Yes,
Okay, so you get that first.
right, because otherwise I don't know what size the house is.
Okay, and you get that from the realist.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
It's on, in Colorado, it's
I
just a
haven't
tab.
it's right here.
It's just a tab you want to
So it's another data source.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you that have been using Realist for a while, it looks different this morning.
it does look different, you know.
Karen's looking at me like, what?
I haven't looked at it yet.
Uh-huh. Look at this, you guys.
It looks different.
It looks so different. 1068
This part is the same. But then when
Delta.
you get to report, yeah.
Delta Drive.
So this is how you pull up information on any property before it's listed.
Yeah.
Got
Ready?
Yeah.
So this looks all the same. And then I come down here and click my reports button.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That part looks different.
Look a little different?
It does.
It looks a lot different.
Yeah.
Then I pick their house. And look how different it is. All the info is there, but it's laid out very different. So just so you know, there's lots of all kinds of stuff that's weird out here. Right? And then you've got different report styles and stuff. So just so you know, be prepared for those of you that have played around in this for a little while, that this is different. So it kind of threw me for a learning curve earlier today. All right, so I want to find my price per square foot. Now, my good friends at Iris make this difficult because Iris doesn't calculate it, but I've got these down here. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 properties. Median is what?
One in the middle.
One in the middle. So probably number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to write down, because I haven't done my spreadsheet yet. I'm going to write down 275. That's my median price per square foot in the neighborhood. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to narrow these to the ones that are within the above grade square foot. If I was doing houses, just to kind of go where Karen was taking me, is I also look at the total square footage, like I would do a sort on the total and also see if it picked up any other properties. I already know it doesn't. Okay, but you can absolutely check because here's the reality. This house has a basement, there's one on here that doesn't. Now I'm gonna keep it for now for the point of teaching, but I would probably throw that one out of my comps. Because my house has a basement and that one doesn't. Okay? So I got my narrow. And so now I like to just flip through them. And just make sure that they have some semblance. Well, here's the good news. This one that's active at 415 is in the exact same complex. So that's probably a pretty good comp. It's a 2-story, it's a little smaller. Okay? This one on Artemis is within a quarter of a mile. It's the complex across the street. Some people believe that you only can do them in the same complex, and I'm going to argue you can't because there's not enough sales. But if they're comparable enough in size and style, they're in the same community. It's no different than getting houses that are a couple of blocks away from each other on a single family. Okay? So this one is actually a pretty good comp, and it sold for $430. I like that. All right? This one is actually in another community that's right there. I don't like the price point, but we'll see what it plays out to be. Then I got another one. Again, it's 2-story, except this is the one that does not have a basement. I might throw this one out, but for now I'm going to leave it for the sake of just exploration. Actually, I'm going to throw it out. And then this one's in the same complex. So I'm throwing out this one, because it's so much, it doesn't have the square footage. And let's be honest, it's not helping where we want to be. Okay? So now I got a rate.
Do you have a benchmark of how many properties you like to use? 5 or 10 or?
It depends. And I know that's not the answer you're looking for. In this case, this is more than enough because they're so similar.
So
And they're going to all adjust out, right? If I'm in a community, so like this other house I have that's a 1,200 square foot Hutchinson Ranch that they added 700 square feet to, I'm probably going to pull more comps to try and find more houses and really have to try and work the averages, right? And so it depends on what I need, right? If you're in a community where you're selling a condo and it's all of them are 1,000 square foot condos and they all are exactly the same, you probably could get away with 3.
Okay.
Right?
So it's situational.
It absolutely is situational. I can remember one year I had 12 because the numbers were all over the board and I had to try and find some normalcy. Okay. Now, if I am working with a buyer and the buyer is going to go, let's pretend the buyer is going to go put in an offer on the one that's for sale for 415. Okay. I can look at these townhome condos and I can go, all right, 415 is what they're asking. This one is sold for 439, a little bit bigger with finished basement. 393, very similar in square footage, part of the basement at 393.5. And then this one, same complex, sold for 425, and it's the exact same unit. Okay, so then I'm going to go glance at them for condition on the inside. Just from this data, I can say to my buyer, Brandon, so Brandon, here's what I did. Took a look at the other area, the comps that recently sold in the neighborhood. And those are ranging from 393.5 to 430. The one that sold for 430, that one is a little bit bigger and it had a fully finished basement. So the fact that that sold for a little bit more than what they're asking at 425 absolutely makes sense. The one you're looking at 415, I'm sorry, you're looking at the one at 415. So that $15,000, just the finished basement alone is probably worth that. Okay. But the other thing is that one didn't have the upgrades that this one has. So I think 415 is a fair price. But the reality is you could probably go up, if we had to, you could probably go up to 420, 425, or we could go in at 410 and see if we could get them to buy. That's how I counsel my buyers, guys. I'm not gonna go every single adjustment on every single one of those, I ain't got no time for that, and neither do you. But that should give you enough data, so when I'm talking about when you're working with buyers, you wanna do a market review, take a glance at what's happening, and go for it. True story, y'all know I got my collector house on the market, right? And I got a phone call from an agent the other night, and he had a verbal offer for me, 10% under this price. And he knew the neighborhood so well. I said, well, did you see the comp? It's the same house that's about 100 square feet less, that sold for 414 in the same condition. Dead silence. Guess what he hadn't done?
Researching.
Hidden his homework, right? If you've done your homework, and let's say that Brandon says, you know what, Margaret, I think I want to go in at 405. I have now at least done enough homework because I got that 393 there to use as my justification. I can have an intelligent conversation with the listing agent as to why he's coming in at what did I say you were coming in at 405 versus the 415. I have the information to help build his case for his price. So as buyer's agents, you guys gotta understand his basics. Fair enough? Questions on Zoom land? Okay. You ready to get into mechanics? We've talked theory for an hour. All right, what have you taken away so far? One thing.
Your comps need to be similar to your
Your
property.
comps need to be similar to the property. What's one more? I do want one more.
You start off with the square footage and the price per square footage
To get your
to
adjustment.
get your
Yeah.
just.
It's the only place we use it, right? It's just in a way to give you a mathematical equation to be able to adjust your square footage. That's all it is. It's just part of a math. Okay? All right, so here we go. This is gonna be a challenge. Okay, so here's my subject property. I already preloaded it. They bought it in July 14th of 2021. It was on the market for 415. They had a really good agent who got them under that in 2021, which was pretty good at 410. The above grade square foot is 1174. Basement is finished at 587. They have 2 bedrooms. They now have 3.5 baths. The seller added a full bath in the basement that was never there before. Okay, there's going to be an adjustment for that. Okay, they have central air. They were built in 1994. They have a 1-car detached garage. It's a condo, so lot size doesn't matter, and they are in a C3 condition.
So if Realist give you this info?
No, this,
Realist gives me everything except condition.
this is your spreadsheet.
This is Margaret's spreadsheet. Yep.
That you're going to serve.
But Realist gives you that info.
Yes. As a matter of fact, they took it all right.
But then like the bathroom, you had to adjust the bathroom because Realist didn't have the new bathroom.
Right. So I knew that, right?
Right.
So Realist says, if I can find it really quick, because I was in a different place. Realist says they have 2 full baths and a half.
Got
And the MLS said they only had 2. You want me to tell you how this buyer got this for such a good price in the heat of the market? The listing agent didn't know what they were doing. Crappy pictures, my client didn't even want to go look at the house, it was so bad, and we went and bought it, went and looked at it. So he was missing a half bath in the MLS, so the realist says it's 2.5. Okay, I know they added a full one, so I added my intelligence to it. And I also added my condition, okay? So in the magic spreadsheet, one sec.
Which you're gonna share with us later, right?
Yep, I promise. You're getting the adjustments and you're getting the spreadsheet.
Thank you. That was all my question was.
Okay, no, go and read it all, Jesse. All right,
You're
so
gonna have to, that's fine.
in here in the green part, you're set up to audit this there's formulas in here. Ryan was struggling the other day, and the first question I asked him is, did you screw up my formulas? Okay, so my price per square foot was what? $275. So when I put that in, it automatically calculates the above grade at 9166, finished basement 4583, unfinished 2291. When Stacy and I first started, our coach at the time made us get out our calculators and do them, and we had to do the math for everything.
That's great.
Well, guess what?
Thank you guys.
You know what we're really good at?
I know it's so.
Doing this stuff in our head.
Yeah.
Right? So-
That's true.
You guys understanding the how is super important. Okay? Your built, it's about usually $1,000 a year. Right? You wanna keep the time frame about the same. I don't think it's changed.
I don't think so.
Since, if for 12 years, that adjustment hasn't changed.
As long as you're still, like, if you're in the same condo complex, there's no adjustment needed. You're
Yeah.
all built around the same time.
Well, we don't have lots in condos anyway.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm doing my house in Allendale compared to other houses right there in Allendale, they might be a year or two different, but honestly, I don't usually put that in.
Yep.
And if I have something in the neighborhood that was scraped and rebuilt,
That's
I'm
not.
probably throwing it out. It's not a comp.
However, when you start getting into certain parts of town.
Yeah.
Where you've got homes that were built anywhere from 1920 to 1940, that starts to make a difference.
It does.
Right? Now, please don't try your best to not compare a 1920 house to a 2020.
Yeah. It's just
I
different.
just please don't do that. No matter how well 1920 has been rehabbed.
Right.
Don't.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I pre-populated all of this in here. And so now what I'm gonna do is I wanna start doing the math. Okay, so we're gonna bounce back and forth. And we're gonna throw this one in, cause it's in the exact same complex. So I'm
Do you
copy-
share this spreadsheet with your client?
No.
Okay.
Except if he's an engineer or an accountant or somebody who wants to understand how I got to every detail. And then I still don't share the spreadsheet. I put it actually into the CMA document that I'm going to provide.
Got it.
Yeah, it shows all the different comps, right? that you
Yep,
do, whatever.
Absolutely. So we're gonna Control C. I should put this down. It's gonna drive me crazy. So I'll put the address right here. Okay. And then I'm gonna put in here, date sold. Well, it hasn't sold. It went on the market May 2nd. So I'm gonna put in here, May 2nd. Okay, I gotta change this. I can't do this. AJ, can you grab this for me? Thank you. Happy. It's good when it's good, but when it's too high, it's. What's it like?
Why are you putting in date sold if it's not sold?
I'm gonna show you in a minute. Because remember, this worksheet is basically designed to help me have a conversation.
Okay.
So if it went on the market 5-2, what I'm going to use this extra field for is I'm just gonna write the word active. Okay,
Say that again?
I'm gonna write the word active. So when
Got
I'm looking at the finished spreadsheet, I'm gonna know, this is my competition, but I still wanna see how it mathematically plays.
Got it.
Okay? Art, not science, data and data and data is the most important thing you can get, because the more data you have, the more obvious the answer becomes. Okay? All right, so the list price on this was $415. And so for the sake of the math, I'm going to assume they get $415. I don't have any reason to believe they won't, at least at this point in the ballgame. Okay? Then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna say, what's the above grade square feet? So I'm gonna come right here. Somebody help me remember some of these numbers. 992 and 552. Okay, so my above grade is 992. So now what I want you to watch happens in the grade formula that currently says 107. When I hit enter, it's going to do the math. And it's doing a 16,683 positive adjustment. The reason it's a positive adjustment is this property is smaller than the subject. So I need to bring the comp up to the same as the subject property. So it would be a positive adjustment, right? Because it's not as big.
If you put the same number in, it would just be 0.
Yeah, it's,
Done.
yeah. And if I put in a silly number, it'll be a negative because now it's bigger than the subject, right? I'm always taking the comps and making them mirror the subject. Okay, so this number was 992, right?
Yep, yeah.
Okay, and then my total is 1544. And my basement is 552. And I already forgot.
1544.
I'm gonna need some sleep. 1544. And then the basement in this house is unfinished. So the 552 is gonna go in the unfinished line. See it?
Yeah.
So let me help you, Lisa. Okay. So my above grade is smaller, so it's a positive adjustment.
Okay.
My finished basement, there's no finish on the subject, so I leave that 0, so that's a positive adjustment.
Okay.
However, the comp has unfinished space, well, we're 100% finished, so that's a negative. So the difference in the size in the basement is pretty insignificant, it's 30 feet. But the fact that part of it's finished and part of it isn't, is a net $14,000 value, which feels about right? If you start looking around, that would be about right. Comparing a finished to an unfinished basement of this size would be about 14 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this property had 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. So remember I said I don't normally make an adjustment for bathrooms. But this is pretty significant, right? There's a bathroom in the basement that nobody else has. All right, so I'm going to adjust it. And I gotta find my adjustment sheet, which I lost. Greg, stop.
What? Stop what?
I heard that chuckle. Okay, so it's saying, it says 5,000 per half. I'm probably not gonna go that high. I'd probably just do a $5,000 adjustment for it. Okay, oops. Okay, again, that's not something I would normally do. But this is a very unique situation. All right, central air. They have central air. This was built in 94. So here we go. Built in the same year, so that $1.9 million adjustment just went away. And we have central. Okay. And this is in the same community, so it's got the same 1-car detached garage as the subject. And we don't have a lot size, so now let's go figure out condition. So,
You don't make adjustments for lot size?
not on a condo because they don't own the lot.
Oh, I apologize. I forgot.
No. Great question, right? Keep going, nothing to apologize for. So, the outside's gonna look the same. So this one's got current paint color, got hard laminate flooring, looks nice, looks nice, looks nice. By the way, it looks very similar to the subject. Just so you know, if I had pictures of the subject, it looks like this. Okay. Long time to get to where I wanted to go. Okay, so talking about the kitchen. This is what the kitchen looked like when my client purchased it.
A sofa? That's all I see.
No, do you see this big hole underneath the heads?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it has a pass through. Okay,
Okay.
guess what?
Oh,
So
I
did
see.
this one, but it doesn't anymore.
They open it up.
Dad, the general contractor, came in and opened this wall up so that
Right.
everything above that counter space is wide open. Okay. Positive, because it makes the place feel bigger.
Right.
The kitchen in this one, they have painted the original cabinets white.
Okay.
My client painted theirs light pink, but it doesn't look gross. It's actually a lot like the same color as Karen's vest.
It's actually
Pink?
even lighter.
Yeah, it's
more
super
purple.
light.
It's very subtle.
It's pretty actually, because when they first told me they were painting the cabinets pink, I called them both Barbie.
Oh, dear Lord.
And then now when I'm gonna sell the house, we got a Barbie house. No, I'm kidding, we're not gonna do that.
It's glam.
Yeah.
It's a glam house, right? So painted cabinets, painted cabinets. Okay. Laminate countertop, granite countertop. Okay, just telling you the differences. Stainless steel appliances compared to those appliances. So probably still similar. Okay. All right, and then the rest of this is I mean, the picture to me is that when the kitchen's the biggest upgrades, right? So again, condition, you've got the bath is current looking. You go upstairs, you got carpet. They did replace the carpet upstairs and it's now laminate. But same feel from that perspective. Now, this one's an unfinished basement. Right, but we've already adjusted for that in the square footage. And we adjusted for the bathroom. Okay, same cute little outside area. So where do you think and this is what the garages all look like there. Tell me what you believe if you look at the cheat sheet, and I'm gonna help you. Here it is. What is the condition of this comp?
Or
C3 or were there any original things in there?
It has original working appliances, like they're not stainless.
So I'd say C3.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, but this, yeah, okay.
C3.
So where do we all think it is?
C3.
Anybody think differently? I think I agree. Okay? Just testing. Because guess what? There was no wrong answer.
Margaret, I had a question real quick.
Go ahead, speak up.
Is there a difference between carpet and laminate price difference adjustments?
I think it contributes to the overall condition of the property. If either one of those types of flooring is beat up and gross, that's going to have an overall arching impact on the condition of the property. But I'm not gonna make a carpet adjustment.
A couple thousand, yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. It's just not what we do, right? And I'm gonna guess if the carpet or the laminate is beat to garbage, there's other things in the house that is taking it from a C3 to C4. Because it falls into that category of the deferred maintenance. Okay? So assuming this house is priced correctly at $415, when I make the adjustments for the square footage, my house would be worth $451. If that's the only one I use. It's not what we're
What
doing.
about fireplaces? Because that was the only one we didn't have. What would you do for a fireplace?
About $1,000.
Okay.
So again, it's not moving the needle. Now, here's what I would tell you. If I brought Diane Howard in to teach you this class, Diane goes down to every little detail. Like she goes down to laminate versus stone. This flooring versus this flooring. This versus this, versus this for this, versus like she goes down into very minute level details. But you want to know what's funny? When we all get to the end, we're going to be all in the same ballpark. Right? So there's more than one way, and I encourage you guys to go take other CMA classes, right? I have learned from a multitude of different appraisers. I've learned from different agents, and what I've learned is that I apply my own knowledge, okay? This is very similar to how I learned how to do it, but again, Diane's gotten it down to like super minute details, and it still works.
It still works. And one thing I would say, I'm taking other CMA classes as well. One thing that one of the instructors said that has stuck with me is just don't adjust for something twice. If you adjust for every bedroom and bathroom and every appliance and fireplace and everything else, but you've also adjusted for don't adjust for all the square feet and then adjust for all the rooms. Because you're counting them twice. You've already counted them in one place. You can't adjust for everything in multiple places. You have to decide where your adjustments are gonna be. And that's why she's saying, well, square footage is square footage unless there's something really, really different about that square footage. In which case I might make a different adjustment.
Yep.
And not just an average adjustment on the square feet. But we don't wanna count them all twice, like, oh, I'm gonna count all the square footage and then I'm gonna count, this one's 3 bedroom, this one's 5, and this one's, et cetera, et cetera. Just don't count it twice. Other than that, yeah, you get to decide how detailed you wanna get in this.
And if you want to get good at this, for all of you that are out there doing open houses, have you ever done a CMA on the open house?
No.
Why not?
I have many times.
Okay, but exactly, great, and so this is
Oh,
what
the
you start.
cheaper.
No, but it's not about getting good A or F. It's about saying if you wanna hone this skill, you gotta practice.
And I'd say doing it on an open house is a perfect time to do it, because when people walk in and they go, they're asking 450,000 for this? And you can go, yeah, actually, you know, some other condos in this building have sold for 415 and they didn't have the finished basement, they didn't have the extra bathroom, they didn't have, and you're gonna sound so smart.
Yeah, so when I used to farm Applewood West, and I looked at every real estate when it would come on the market, right? And I bet to this day I could get pretty close, just walk into a house in Applewood, because they're all the same, right? I would take my little showing sheet from when I went to preview it, I would take, it was little, not this size back then. Okay, but I would take my MLS sheet and I would walk through the house and I would write comments, right? And I would write notes on it. And then I would write down there what I think it'll sell for. Then I would go back
Such as,
later and I would go see what it actually sold for. Right? What a great way to start to learn, right? And even if you don't learn anything more than just how to work the math, it's going to help you guys, right? Because here's what's going to happen, because it's already happened to several of you. Oh my God, I got a listing. Margaret, help me.
Yep.
And 2 hours later, I've done your CMA with you,
Yeah.
right? And that's not a bad thing. However, if I do it for you, you're not learning. I'll do it
Right.
with you. I'll gut check it with you. But if you're practicing, some of you guys are doing 2 and 3 open houses a week.
yeah,
If you did 2 or 3 CMAs a week, how much quicker would you be good at these? Super good. Okay? Just don't ever do one on my property and tell me I priced it wrong.
would
Kidding.
never.
Okay? My seller priced it. It's usually my seller who priced it wrong. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. So 1080 Artemis, I like this one because it just sold. Okay, it's not in the exact same complex. But again, close enough to be important, right? So this one closed at, it closed on 3/31, 4/35 to 4/30. Don't put my date here, because data is data. And they started at 4/35, right? And they ended it at 4/30. Okay? I'm sorry, what?
Was I missing a digit?
Maybe I'll go back and look. Okay. 1020 above. Oh, yeah.
I was like, I think it's shorter, I can't. quite-
That would make for an interesting comp, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, if I miss a 0, 43,000 instead of 430. So 1020 above grade. So it's gonna do the magic. So again, it's bringing it up. This is one of the bigger units in the complex. 1530. Okay, so now let's see what we have for basement. So this one is 510 finished and 0 unfinished. So this
Do
is.
you add in any area for HOA?
I'm sorry, what, Greg? I couldn't hear you.
Do you add a number in there for HOA fees?
No.
No, because that doesn't influence the value of the property.
But it does influence price.
No, it doesn't.
It does not.
Well, payment, you know what I mean? You got
Okay,
to
but we're not talking about their payment. We're talking about what should be the list price or purchase price of the property.
Got it. Never mind. Never mind.
Well, you're good. I want you to ask those questions because there's other people thinking it. And I want to clear up the mud. Okay?
No
So
mud.
this one has 3-2. I'm sorry, did I hear another question?
No.
Okay. And then cooling and year. So I've got central air and it was built in 1993. Again, I'm probably going to make that same bathroom adjustment if this one doesn't have a bathroom in the basement. It does.
Mm.
So in this case, I'm not making a bathroom adjustment. See that? You guys understand that? Okay, that was a good one. I didn't even do that on purpose to have it.
Because it's you got $1,000.
Yes.
Because of what it's sold.
Yep. Okay, Now, this one has a one-car attached garage.
Oh,
I would argue that buyer preference may be always to have an attached versus a detached. I would also argue it doesn't change the value of the garage. A parking space is worth a parking space. Okay,
Like the year thing, so if it's 10 years older, you'd add $10,000 to it?
yep,
say that again?
The house, it's worth more.
I'm sorry, what?
The older the house, it's worth more.
No, the newer the house. The subject was built in 1994.
Right.
So I wanna bring the comp up to the same level. So if every year of build is worth $1,000 and this one is older, I need to add $1,000 to make it compare.
Got it.
But doesn't that raise the value? Like if it was 84, you'd raise it 10,000.
What?
Yeah. Because I'm bringing it up to the subject property. If this was built in 2000, then it would be a negative because the subject is older than the comp.
Makes sense. Okay. Am I on mute?
Make sense?
I hope so.
Kind of, not really.
So
Because
if
like you
they-
built it for less money in 93 and that's why you have to bring it up.
No, it's an older house. So which is more valuable, a newer house or an older house?
New house. of
Right, so if this one's older,
Yeah.
I need to increase the adjusted value to make it same as subject. I'm bringing, all of these adjustments are making it the same as the subject.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, because that's how it's the adjusted values that matter, not the go to market
And that's
value
what
of that
breaks it down to
specific
square
property.
foot.
Yes. Okay, all right, now that lot size, we don't care about that, all right, so figure out condition. By the way, I didn't look at these. What we're gonna find out. All right, so here we go. All right,
Is that painted blue trim around the opening? Sorry, I would, oh no, that's a mirror.
that's a mirror.
It just has a painted blue mirror. Okay, I was like, what was that? Sorry.
You can tell when the designers start looking at these, because Coachy and Stacy will start looking at the design.
No,
versus
I
the
just didn't know what I was
conditions.
looking at. I didn't like change. I didn't see what I.
But it's very normal what you both
Okay.
just did, okay? Now, I can't tell, but I think these look like some painted cabinets, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
I think
With
so.
some new poles, it looks like an upgraded.
Looks like a
platform
French
top and
white.
backsplash.
Backsplash as well.
I'm sorry, what?
Looks like a French white compared to the white stove.
Yeah.
But it still looks painted, yeah, painted. The more you get into it, it's the same cabinet, just a different color. Kind of like light pink. Okay? Stainless steel appliances,
Right.
Except for the stove.
look for the stove, carpet,
Okay, they've got wood look. in there.
so here's the finished basement, got some carpet.
Looks nice though. It looks beautiful. It's nice. Okay.
Okay, so what is it? Tell me what the condition is.
On a condo, would you look at like the siding and stuff because that's part of HOA?
Yeah, I don't put a whole lot of.
No.
And if I did, it would go into the overall condition.
Yeah.
So, looking at these conditions, what condition is that comp property?
C3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
C3.
C3.
I say a C5.
Pick 'em out. Pick 'em
Correct,
out.
C5,
No.
Pick 'em out.
Yeah,
a
that's
C5 is one level from, C5 is one level from straight
oh. Well, I stand with C5.
I still couldn't hear you. Okay, so who says it's a C3? Who
Yeah.
says it's a C5? Anything else? I agree, I think I would call it a C3. It's kind of interesting is that they all are falling into that same bucket.
Now, what would make it a C4? Like, cause it's good to average, cause I was kind of thinking maybe a C4, but. Cause of
Tell me why you think it might have been a C4.
Cause of the kitchen.
So it's the exact same as the other two that we've talked about.
Oh,
They've taken the original cabinets that were in decent shape and they just changed the color of them.
okay.
What was
Right.
C4 again?
I didn't,
Good to average.
so a
Yeah, okay, I'll
C4
go
would be
C4.
something where maybe the cabinets are beat up, they haven't painted them. That kind of stuff.
Would you assume, cause it's like 94, 93, HVAC, all that, so the same?
It looks
That's all
like
I got to work with, right? Now, I could absolutely go through and read the comments and I might get some clues,
Got it,
right?
updated things.
Exactly, right? But we're, at this point, we're just looking at pictures because I value your time. And I don't want to burn it all up, going into every little detail on this. When I go back and actually do this in preparation for this listing consultation on this weekend, I'm probably gonna dig a little deeper. And there might be some minor condition to change adjustments that I make, but not much. But let's pretend that we're gonna call that one a C4. Just because I wanna show you the formula. So is C3 or C4 better condition?
a C3 better.
C3 is better. So in order to take the C4 comparable and make it a C3 adjusted value, what do I need to do? Do I need to do a positive or a negative adjustment?
Negative. Or to C4.
I'm taking a C4 comp and I have a C3 subject. So I need to bring it up.
Right.
So it's gonna be a positive adjustment. Because C3 is a better quality than the C4.
And we're trying to bring the C4 up to the
I'm
C3.
trying to bring Artemis Road to look the same as Delta Drive. Okay. Alright,
Oh.
so I'm going to do a mathematical formula, right? And I'm going to remember, it says that per condition level, right, or ranking, is 3 to 5%. So this one, Ryan says, is on the bubble. It could be a C3, it could be a C4. So I'm probably only gonna do a 3% adjustment. If there was a bigger swing where he was emphatic, that's a C4 and there's no difference, then I'd probably go 5%. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a positive adjustment because I'm bringing it up a level. So I'm gonna say equals times, I'm gonna take the original sold price times 3%, because that's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna go on the low side of that adjustment. So it did the calculation. If you're not an Excel jockey, you could do that math in your calculator and plug it in.
It's sold price times.
Whatever your percentage is. Now, let's pretend. Now let's do it the other way. Let's pretend that Artemis is a fully remodeled, strong C2. Stacy just flipped it. Okay, now is my adjustment positive or negative?
It's gonna be negative.
Why is it negative, Coachy?
Because we're bringing it down.
Yep, I'm bringing it down because my subject is a C3. So your formula then has to have a minus in it. So I like to do equals, and I do the negative on the purchase price times the 4% because it's so much better. So then it doesn't negative. Okay, you can make a percent negative however you do this, but that's the math.
And that percentage is 3 to 5, depending on your condition.
Yes,
Okay.
right?
Unless you're. That's per level though.
Right.
So if you're taking a C4 to a C2. It's
Now
not
it's
just
6 to
3 to
10.
5, now it's 6 to 10%.
If I'm taking your grandma's house, that's a C5, low C5
To a C2.
to a C2,
Then it's
that's C2 to C3 to 4 to 5. That's at least a 15% adjustment. And I think in that case, when you're starting to go that big of a difference, I might even add another few percentage points.
So that's probably why I didn't get the number I didn't get
Right,
with those other ones.
yep, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Is this making sense?
Yes.
Go practice.
Oh, we have a double Patrick. Okay. All right, we're gonna do one more. And then we're just gonna talk. So I wanna do the one that's in complex. Again, I don't know, I didn't even look at these pictures, so I have no idea what we're gonna find. This is about as real can be, you guys, like this is doing things as if I was
It's
doing
actually kind
it
of-
really wrong. Huh?
It's actually funded.
So this one just closed on April 21st, so this one's even better.
I love art.
You love what?
So I love art.
425. So this one was on the market for 425 and it sold for 420. Okay, now sometimes I'll put in your days on market just for data, so I have it. We're gonna do that today. Okay, so this one's 992, 1544, so we're just gonna do this. It's the same as that one. Except, oh, this one doesn't have a finished basement either. So this one's gonna be very similar to the first one, right? So we've got 2. We're gonna have central air, as they all do. This one was built in 93. Gonna have a 1-car detached garage. Oh wait, I forgot to make this, oh, I didn't do it for that. Gonna make this same adjustment, because it doesn't have a bath in the basement. And now we're gonna go find out what the condition is. I think I already know, but let's find out. So we have painted cabinets,
New appliance.
we have newer appliances, we have laminate countertop, updated lighting fixtures,
Flooring looks newer too.
flooring's newer, yep,
Updated counter and stuff.
that's it.
Down carpet, it looks like.
Yep, they did update the sink, it does look like that might be stone.
The white quartz or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, updated baths.
Looks like new car thing too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looks very nice.
Still, there's pretty much everything.
New van,
too.
new van.
They too, I was saying.
And
Okay, so
C2.
what is it?
C2.
How many think it's a C2?
I do.
Yeah, I'd say high C3, C2.
C2.
Oh, what did you say, Diane?
I see.
High C3, C2.
Okay, what would you have done?
I'm sorry, I didn't look at all the pictures.
That's okay.
No, I didn't. That's
Here's why I don't think it's a solid C2.
Six.
because
That's not
I it.
Because the cabinets aren't replaced, they're painted.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were painted. So, Diane, I agree with you.
So new cabinets would make it completely different than just painting them.
Yes,
Yes.
because that's like a new build.
Yeah.
That's like bringing it up to all new, right? This one's very close. Is it higher? Does it have more upgrades than the subject?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
but not all the way to be a solid C2. So when Diane said high C3, low C2, I'm on board with that. Okay, so I'm gonna do this just for this sake. I'm gonna say it's a C2 minus, because other than the cabinets, if the cabinets would have been replaced, I agree.
How would you judge like parts of the house, like living rooms or living rooms, but like bathrooms and like kitchens?
What's the most expensive one to remodel?
Kitchen.
Kitchen.
Then that's where I put the most of my weight,
Right.
right? This one had lots of upgrades everywhere else, except for those kitchen cabinets, right? Now, again, if I would have had the luxury to go preview all those homes before my listing hit the market, I'd have a better idea. And again, I didn't read all the comments, all right? So we're gonna go with this as a C2 minus, okay? Oops, it goes over here. Come on, Margaret. If this is good, for example. All right, so I'm gonna make this a C2 minus, and I'm doing a percentage per level. What percent would I do? 5?
Not per level, like 1.5.
And just so you know, the subject is a solid C3.
Yeah. Like 2.
Like 1.5.
I'd probably do 3, right? It's not 5 for sure. I would probably do at least to start 3. I might back it down to 2, but let's see how it plays. So remember, this has got to be negative because the comp is slightly better than the subject, right? So we're going to do a negative 425 times 0.03. All right. I think we probably nailed it. Okay, so I'm gonna have more of these, okay, but let's just pretend we've done them all. Okay, now we have to come up with a value. So I have all these adjusted values. I have 450, 448, and 449.
You find the mean.
I have an average of 449, 590.
That would be the.
I have a high of 448, or I'm sorry, a low of 448.6 and a high of 451.
It's pretty narrow.
That's a pretty narrow spread.
That's pretty.
So
yeah.
I'm probably gonna guess it's a $450,000 house. Now, if it has a bigger spread, this is where I start having to look at averages. And sometimes you'll have them where one is just like way off. Like you'll have one that's like, no matter how you adjust it, it's way higher or way lower than everything else. When that happens, I throw out the high and the low and I take the average of everything in between. I didn't do more than 3 because you don't need to sit here and watch me do the math over and over and over and over and over again. But in my perfect world, to answer Lisa's original question, how many? It depends.
3 to 5.
If I did 5, I like to start with 5. Okay? If I start with 5 and I have a big extreme between one end and the other end, I'm going to throw those out. Now I've only got 3. I might go see if I can find 2 or 3 more. Okay? I might go farther. I might go with a bigger spread in the square footage.
Or back in time with the months.
Or go back farther in time, yeah.
About, the HVAC, like if one of your properties has an older furnace versus one that's just brand new. Or, water heater, brand new water heater, how does that all play in?
It could play into the C2, C3, C4, right? But the hard part is, on the comps, oftentimes you don't know. Right? So if your property just put in a brand new furnace and a brand new air conditioning and a brand new water heater, but they didn't change anything else in the house, the rest of the house was still a C4, you don't know that the comp you're using has an old furnace or a new furnace.
Well, but if you look at the MLS and you happen to see in the description of the property that, you know, they have the date the furnace was replaced, or they have the date that they replaced a water heater or something like that. I mean, a lot of them, sometimes agents will do that, sometimes they won't, I don't know.
So if you know, like, and let's flip it. Let's say that you have an older HVAC system and you can see the comp has all new HVAC and everything else is exactly the same. I might do, depending on the price point, a small adjustment, just like we did on this one, right? We might do a 1 level 3% adjustment. But that's only if you know. If you don't know what the comp has versus what you have, I don't know that you can adjust just for the mechanics.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Questions?
What would you adjust for in like that example too? Like if they had a brand new roof just put on versus say your comp had a 10-year-old roof or something, just because that's such a big price tag on that.
Again, how do you know what the age of the roof is on the comp?
If it says, like if the comps, like I see a lot where they'll put, you know, brand new or new roof.
Well, just because it's brand new doesn't make it better than an 8-year-old roof,
Okay,
right? The roof's in good shape whether it's 8 years or brand new, right?
right.
And the MLS doesn't tell you those things, especially on the comparables, unless you happen to get one that they put that there. But I'm going to argue that when you have someone that puts in new roof, new HVAC, new, what do you think the rest of the house is going to look like?
Probably gonna follow suit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stacy and Ben just got done flipping it. So the overall condition of the property, they're really good flippers. That's why I do that, right? They do things the right way. So if all of that is new, the rest of the house is probably a C2 too.
And if you're gonna start adjusting for the roof, then you have to know the age of the roof for all the comps.
Right. And you're not
Otherwise,
going
you're only adjusting on one and not on all 5.
What would you do for an end unit?
I would argue end unit,
Like the view thing.
yeah, kind of. Because not all end units are great. Like in my complex, I wouldn't want the end unit because they get hit with the wind first. And it's not a pretty view out their windows, right? They're just looking into the building right next door, right? Now, if you happen to have the end unit in the row, you might have a view, so then you're making a view issues. Right? Again, the things that you're asking me are such a small piece, it's not gonna swing your number. Because if this one would have come in, let's say that this one we got lucky, and it's obvious I should list it at 450, right? Based on what we did?
Based on what we did.
Based on what we did. Let's say it came in at 440. Now what conversation am I having with the seller?
Why you should list it less.
Right, now we're gonna get into pricing strategy, right? It's gonna be a conversation that's gonna say, look, I think the sweet spot on your house is somewhere between 435 and 445. Now, we can list it at those, but let's talk about strategies. Like, remember when we had the consultation, we talked about the different ways that buyers look for property searches. So do we want to list it at 425 and let the market take it? Knowing that attached houses have 4.5 months worth of inventory, and you want to buy a new house before your maternity leave is over. Right? If we list it at 450, my fear is you're going to be sitting for a very long time, and you're all going to be back to work, and the baby's going to be daycare. Baby's due in 2 weeks. And we're shopping for houses.
Yeah,
And putting a house on the market. This will be fun.
it'll be fun.
Wow.
So there's so much more to it, right? And that's what I hope you guys are taking away, is that it's not an exact science. You're not going to, Lisa, when we did your listing with your son, we came up with a value.
Yes.
What was the value we came up with? We came up with a range of what?
515 to 545 or something like that.
Yeah. That was a bigger range than a lot of times someone will have, right? But 515, 520, does it really matter?
No.
No. And that's what I want you to take away, is that we get so nervous about CMAs that we have to be so perfect.
Well, and we priced it at 525 and we closed on it at 545.
Exactly. Because you also implemented what the estimated value of the house was, where you thought the sweet spot was, where you thought it would be appraised at. But then you had to talk about pricing strategy. Those are two separate conversations when you're working with sellers. If I'm working with a buyer on this house, then I'm gonna say, I think the sweet spot is between whatever it was, 440 to 445. Where do you wanna go? By the way, we're not competing against anybody. It's been on the market for 5 weeks. Probably gonna go on the low side. There's 10 other offers, we're probably gonna push higher. Right? So there's strategies to all of these things. Now, there's this beautiful thing in our world called concessions right now. Okay? Some agents will tell you that as part of your pricing, you should take the concession into place. So these houses that we would make a line, we would say concession. So if there's a $5,000 concession, we should do a negative $5,000 adjustment, because that's really what the house sold for. I don't do that. Because as the seller, what is the likelihood that I'm gonna get asked for concessions?
High percentage.
Pretty high, right? Interest rates just went over 6.5. We're gonna get asked for concessions just like these other houses did. So our sale price is going to be comparable, and our concessions are gonna be comparable. So I'm not going to reduce the comps by the concessions if I'm expecting that I'm gonna have to give concessions too. I wanna keep them equal. Now, if this market turns, let's say interest rates go down to 5 3/4 next week. Are concessions still gonna be a part of the picture?
Not as much.
Probably not. So when I'm doing a CMA in that environment, I might make an adjustment for them. Because the buyer's agents are gonna be doing that. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, this is why it is so very important that you not only understand the mechanics of how to do this, But how do you apply the current market conditions you're in? Because I will tell you, they will turn on a weekend.
Yeah.
I will never forget the day that Elena Dorland walked in the door. She's Mark, the market shifted this weekend. And I said, I know, did you feel it? Like we literally felt it between Friday and Sunday.
Yes.
It's a cool feeling to have.
It
So
is.
you had something, Stace?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, sometimes when you're doing the comps, especially not in a condo unit like this, but like single family homes in suburban neighborhoods or in Candelas or wherever you're gonna be. And you see some of them that are like, okay, I've adjusted, but this over here is still $50,000 different, or this over here is still whatever. It might be the view, it might be a busy street will also negatively affect one house versus another. You've got a street on a house with a double yellow line in the middle, like that house will not sell for as much as other houses that are 2 blocks away, or even just 1 block away. So I think that those are things like, if you didn't think of it automatically, that one has a view, and you're like, that's gonna be an adjustment, or that one has, whatever. And it's just different, maybe take a look for those things
And
to
school
see if you
district
need an
makes a
adjustment.
difference. Not really.
Yeah.
No.
And guess what you have? You have the phone number for the listing agent and you have the phone number for the buyer agent. Pick up the doggone phone and talk to them.
Yeah.
I'm doing a market analysis in this particular community, and I'm trying to figure out what was really different about your property. Right? Or can you tell me about the property? And they're gonna come out and they're gonna say, oh my God, you should have seen the views. Or, yeah, back in 72nd Avenue really hurt us. Well, now you know why it has that big adjustment, and then you can adjust for it.
Exactly.
Right? So when you have those outliers, if you can't just take them out, because then you don't have enough, then pick up the phone and see if you can find out more information. Best practice, if you know that you are going to have a listing in a specific area. So like, I know I'm gonna have one in Lafayette in a condo. I am going to go preview every condo that's currently on the market and any condo that comes on the market until we close. How better can I do than to know about every condo we're competing with, or that's going to be a comp to mine? Okay, so get out there, go look at the houses. I know Coachy didn't do that because Erie Aurora is kind of a road trip, right? But she did it when she did open houses, right? So go see them before the open house,
Right.
right? If you know the community, it makes it much easier to explain the differences, and it helps you prep. Like in this house, I don't know when they're gonna go to the market, right? They're having a baby. I don't know. I don't want strangers traipsing through my house when I got a 3-day-old baby at home. There's germs,
Yeah.
right? And so I don't know if we'll go on the market in a month, or could it be 4 months? I don't know. But guess what I do have time for regardless? Homework. The more homework you do, the more practice you do, the better you will be at this art. Okay? Questions?
Mark, you did say you were gonna email us that spreadsheet, right?
No, you know what, Dee? I'm gonna send it to everyone but you.
I was just making sure.
No, yes, you will get the appraisal document or the adjustment document. Yes, I'm going to give you my spreadsheet because you all are here and you're staying and you're asking good questions and you're engaged. So congratulations, you get it. And the next person who asks if I'm gonna send out the spreadsheet's not gonna get it.
Yeah.
So, or actually, I'm gonna go break the formula and then I'll send it to you. So,
That's me.
That's the worst.
Hey, Margaret.
Figure someone else forming out.
yeah, exactly. Good luck. Okay.
Margaret,
Go ahead.
question about doing the CMA using your spreadsheet versus the CMAs that you would find on Matrix or on RPR. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, so I don't use the RPR, so I can't speak to that. Okay. But I'm gonna hold that question, Patrick, so hold me accountable to coming to that, and I want to show you something. Okay? To answer his initial question, I use the spreadsheet to make the adjustments on the CMA pretty thing that's in a realist or a matrix.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend I am going out to meet these people, and I've never been in their house. Hopefully this will get me what I want. Yeah. Okay, I've never been in the house. I know nothing about it. But I know that these are the houses that we would be competing with right now, of varying sizes. And a pretty big spread of price points. Now, those ones that are the 700 square feet, I'm probably not gonna take them, so we'll get rid of them. But I wanna give them a better idea of what's happening in their neighborhood. So I don't get rid of a whole lot, right? And I don't know enough to create a CMA. And so what I can do is I can come here and I can click on all of these, and I can click this thing called Quick CMA. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite tools. And the reason why is that it's a spreadsheet-like look. And it shows you, and it says, okay, well, right now, if we were on the market today, we would be competing against this property and this property. This has been on the market since May 2nd. This has been on the market since April 16th. Then I can come down here and I can say, here's the closed. And I can say, you can notice that they're closing it anywhere from, or they're going under contract anywhere from 2 days to 35 days. Okay, so this gives me an opportunity to talk to them about pricing strategy. You don't have time. You want to be in your new house before you go back to work. We can't overprice it and sit on the market for 35 days before you get it on. Right? The good news is, you know what this tells me about this community?
It's moved.
Right. What did we say about the average? What did we say the inventory is in the Denver metro area for condos and townhomes?
4 months.
4.5 months. How long are they sitting on the market? A long time.
That's not that long.
Not here.
Yeah.
Right? That's good data to take to a seller when you haven't had time to do or don't have the knowledge to do the detailed CMA or the detailed spreadsheet. Okay? So this is how I use this. I will also use this with my buyers sometimes. Right? If my buyers want to make sure they're not going to overpay for a house, this is a great, quick, boom, you're done.
Would that be something like, cause like how you were saying, you don't show the spreadsheet to your seller, would this be something that would be like a good,
For presentation.
yeah, for presentation, just to be able to talk over the numbers that you're promising you?
Amanda does this brilliantly. Amanda will bring out this.
Oh.
And she'll say, here's what's happening in your neighborhood. Here's what's happening in the area. Now that I've walked through your home and I've taken my notes, I'm going to go back and sharpen my pencil. And I will give you guys a call in a couple of days and we'll go through the details of what we believe the value of your specific home is. It makes them feel very special. It also makes them believe that you're going to go and do the homework. And you're not just being the agent who walks in and goes, I think your house is worth this much money. Because there are agents out there. So that's why you gotta be careful when you walk in with pricing, is that who are you talking to? Who do you already know? Now, you guys all know Amanda. Do you think the woman knows Candace?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think she needs to do a CMA to come up with a value on property and sit in Candace?
Probably not.
No, but do the clients think she does?
She still does.
Absolutely. She still does a cloud CMA on every
Yeah.
property,
She still does.
right?
This?
Well, no, so cloud is different, but same theory.
Okay.
Okay, this is a theory class today. You decide how you're going to do it, right? Patrick mentioned RPR. I don't use RPR, so I can't teach it.
What is RPR?
I don't know. It's another tool that's in Realist.
Realtor Property Resource or something like that.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of data.
Go watch
it. Because I've heard Kevin talk about it, but I don't know what it is.
Right, so different agents use it. I've never taken the time to learn it, so I can't speak to it. I'll bet you there's a video in Realist in the Resource Center that you could watch and understand it better. Or we can find somebody to teach it, okay? But RPR does the same thing. I do know this much. It does give you value, it does give you comps, it does a lot of things. So it probably does very similar. I just don't know how to use it. I'm just being honest. So that's the problem. We have too many tools in our industry. Find the tool that works for you. Cloud CMA is sexy. Cloud CMA is expensive. Okay, now I'm gonna show you a free version. So see, I got all my houses clicked, and here I can click Cloud CMA, right? Diane uses it too. But if I want to do just a regular CMA, okay, I'm gonna type in a name here. Here's this crazy person. And I'm gonna come in here to pages, and I can bring in all kinds of different pages, right? I can pick different covers, I can pick different summary lists, I can do comparables, I can do all kinds of data. Play, pick what you want. I do like the map, it's there. So then I come in here and I say, okay, type in the subject manually, bring in the property ID, search in real list for auto home. Okay, I'm gonna do that one. Okay, so they are in, hold on, I'm gonna get my real list sheet out. They're in Boulder County, that's why they are so good. Their parcel number, which just so happens to be on here. I don't think, I do need to put it in here. R0, I don't have to.
You can do it by address.
So I'm gonna do it by address. So it's 1068. Can you guys tell I don't even do this? DELTA street type, drive, unit number, E, honor last name, Lockhart. By the way, she's like my daughter, so don't be dumb. And Colorado. Okay, results. So here's their house. I'm gonna click it and I'm gonna fill it. Here we go. So it's put in most of the information. It misses a few things here and there. And then you can come down in here and you can put in your custom fields. So what do you think my custom field is gonna be? Condition. Okay, and I'm gonna add that in. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna go, it's a C3. Okay. And I'm gonna pretend that all the rest of this is here. It's not all here, right? Like it doesn't have the bathrooms, it doesn't have the square footage and all of that. Can we pretend it does just for this sake? Okay, so then I'm gonna come over here. Here's my cover sheet. I don't really care. And then I need a picture. And then here are all my comps. So I'm just gonna pick them all. And I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna go to adjustments. So now here's each of these properties. Okay. So I can click it this way, or I can do it in detail mode, which puts them up this way side by side. So let's pretend, because I'm just gonna start filling stuff in. I'm gonna say, okay, well, this was a $5,000 positive adjustment. This was a $17,000 positive adjustment. This was a minus $12,000 adjustment. And I'm gonna take the data, from, can you go grab my power cord, please? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna fill all of this in, and then it's gonna give me my adjusted value. So then I'm gonna keep doing that with every property and I'm gonna hit finish. Okay, now I can view it. So if you are working with an engineer or an accountant or somebody who's gonna wanna see all the minute little details, this is the form I use. Because then they can look at the pictures and they can look at the address and they can do all of those things, right? I'm gonna be honest, I don't take these with me. When I do a listing presentation, and if you watch the video of what I did in February with Nikki, I bring the actual MLS sheets and we talk through them. Okay, so thank you so much. We're about to die. That would make my Zoomers very sick. All right, thank you. There's right again. Okay. So now I've got this document. You can go steal a picture off the MLS if you want to. And then here's the pages. So I've picked the summary pages. Shows the different summaries, both the ones that are active and closed. Looks like the quick CMA, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then it comes down and it shows you each individual one of those properties, including the front picture. And it shows the original value and the adjusted value. So it will show you all the different estimates. So you can see on this one where I just started plugging stuff for fun, it shows that the price was $415, and after we made the adjustments, it was $435. So you can see how I got the adjustments because of the bathroom or because of the square footage. Okay, and that's gonna be pages of that because I didn't fine tune it. And then it's gonna show you a map of where everybody is. Okay, very valuable to the sellers. And then you can actually put a page in there where it says this is where I think your property should be. So depending on what pages you choose from the template on the CMA. Okay? That was fast and dirty. And I don't know why I can't read. You guys still see here? See my screen? Oh, there it is. All right. So we've covered tools. We've covered theory. We've covered how to talk to a seller. We've talked about how to use this for a buyer. How are you feeling now? Great.
Ready to start practicing.
We need to start practicing. Fabulous. Do you feel empowered?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I know more for sure.
Definitely. Right? Definitely. All right. How about Zoomland? How are y'all feeling?
A lot more confident.
Yep, a lot more confident for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I feel.
Good. Now,
Makes more sense now that I've actually done it.
that's what I want. It makes more sense. Right? So now, how are you going to make it work for you? You guys need to decide what you're going to do. I gave you the data, I gave you the tools. Most of you are getting the email with the spreadsheet and the adjustment page. And but you are all getting it. But this means nothing if you don't go practice. Right? How many of you have played sports in one level or another in your lifetime? What happens if you don't go practice?
You don't get better.
You lose it.
You'll lose
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
My average went from 190 down to 134. By the way, that's not a golf score. Okay.
You need to
That's a bullet, all right? I'm back up at 170. But here's the thing, you gotta go take this tool and use it. Right? Go preview homes, do a CMA on one of the homes, preview, and then just tuck it away and go see how close you got. Right? Do them on your open houses, either before or after, I don't care. But it's another way to get some practice. All right? All right, well, with that, you got 7 minutes back in your life if you don't have any other questions. All right, bye all.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you, Mark.
Margaret.
Thank you very much.
Yes. I need some more. Yes. Perfect. There's a second. Because every time I get in my car, I'm like, damn it. I rattle